Let's talk about Alphabet, or aka Google. Is an internet search company which offers online advertising technologies, cloud computing and software.
Right, so of course Google is kind of synonymous with the internet because it's just about everybody's start point when you do almost anything. And they own many of the assets that, you know, are front and center, like Gmail, like YouTube, like WhatsApp, like Instagram.
What a lovely positioning to have in the internet phenomenon.
Market cap?
Market cap here is $651.5 billion. PE of 31, pays no dividends. Chris?
Going back to Paul's original statement, or one of his statements there, Bronwyn, about Yahoo.
You've got to sift through all the statements to find the one.
If you look at Yahoo today, yes, people kind of use it, but in those days you had Yahoo, you had Alta Vista, you had Webcrawler, you had Netscape as browsers, and few, if any, of them actually exist today. Whereas Google came along and, you know, with its Chrome browser, which has been particularly successful. You know, Microsoft with its all its stuff.
Explorer,
yeah, this is kind of just fallen away now. It's, I mean, they bring out things also like Bing or Bling. I'm not quite sure what it is. I mean, I wouldn't even think about using it. Google, what I'm trying to get at is Google has established itself as the go-to search engine in terms of finding anything. But there's so much more to Google than just this. And that's why I come back to my original point. This is a multi-dimensional company. It's not a single-dimensional company at all. And that's one of the reasons for, I think, for its continued success.
Can we look at the share price graph, Paul?
Yep, there it is. You can see it's sitting below $1,000 a share now. It was briefly above $1,000 a share, but it's had a tremendous run. And a lot of that has to do with moves since it's kind of stopped spending so much money on moonshots. It still has a few of those, like businesses like Google Glass and Waymo, which is a venture to look at driverless cars and so on and so forth. It's got a deep learning artificial intelligence project called Brain and that sort of thing. But it's really focused down on the core search AdWords business and Gmail and YouTube and all of the ones that we know really bring people into their services via the cloud and where they sell and where they make most of their money.
So let's talk about the opportunity here, Chris, because as it's retraced from nearly that $1,000 level, we're sitting just above $900. Is this the opportunity to buy in?
All the research I've been looking at in the past few days tells me it probably is. There was a big, as many of them call, a drawdown a few weeks ago. In other words, you had this big rise in most of the internet stocks, then all of a sudden about a week or two ago, bang, big reduction. And this happens from time to time. People get a little bit nervous because I think the market generally is looking a bit toppy, and they pull out.
Well, people are saying that they're overvalued at current levels.
Some of them are.
This group of stocks.
Yes. As I said before, not all of them, but some of them certainly are. And I think now if you look at, I mean, I'm not a technical analyst by any stretch of the imagination. I eschew all of that mumbo jumbo. But if you look at it, it's coming back, and it looks like there could be some sort of opportunity if you believe in the longer term goodness of all of these stocks.
Oh.
There are two things that I just want to quickly make. The most of the money that Google makes, and it makes a hell of a lot of money worldwide, is from search-related positioning of the results. I don't know if people understand this.
No, I don't. So
when you want to replace your windscreen, or when you need to buy a puppy, you search that on Google, and the position where certain ads
SOE,
apply,
you mean, yes.
they all
search
pay
engine
for that.
optimization.
And it's got a brilliant back end which enables people, well, search engine optimization results in where a site gets found in reaction to a particular search query. But in addition to that, businesses actually pay in order to be the first response. So in a particular area, and the advertisers can elect how to spend their money, and it's all done electronically and via, you know, the payment back end in such a way that it results in the best results for them, and it's brilliant. So small businesses, big businesses, all sorts of businesses find Google a very, very good advertising partner, selling almost any service globally.
So let's just simplify that. If you are a maker of biscuits,
yes,
and
you're in the Randburg area, for example,
yes, then you need to pay for that positioning. When somebody Googles biscuits in Randburg, you want to be the small business that actually comes up.
And you can elect to come up in reaction to all sorts of different, you know, elements. Biscuits is perhaps a slightly tricky one, but if you're selling dog kennels, for example, then you can really be quite specific about that. And you can appear alongside searches related to all sorts of things. Now, that sounds a bit arcane, but in the United States of America, people buying cars, buying car insurance, buying travel opportunities, all that sort of stuff, That is a very big business.
And if, for instance, if you were offering media training, it would work very well.
Indeed.
Hot, can we go to hot or not?
Management, what about management?
Yes,
We've only
what
got 4
about
stocks
management?
today, so we can
spend
be a
some
little
more
bit more
time.
in detail. Remember, the founders here, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, control the company, and Larry Page is the CEO. So that's okay. He does have that special voting stock. We've seen this with these type startups, but he seems to have done a pretty good job, old Larry Page. Are we happy
Any
with him with the
concerns
help?
from a management perspective?
No concerns whatsoever.
You don't have any concerns with the stock at all?
No.
Hot.
Very hot. I love it.
I think it's an absolute must-have. The only thing that irritates me about it is this thing where they call themselves Alphabet, because it's still got the share code GOOG. But for one reason or another, they wanted people to understand that the search Google business is only part of it, and then all those other moonshots are in there. So they called it Alphabet, which is sort of dumb, because what is Alphabet?
It
Where does that fit
dissipates
in?
the branding opportunity.
Exactly. I think they should go back to calling it Google.
Well, as you said, they've cleaned up a lot of those moonshots now.
When they've kind of de-emphasized them. The CFO, a woman called Ruth Porat, who was previously at Morgan Stanley, said, you know, you boys can't waste money on all this nonsense anymore. Let's get serious here and run this place like a proper grown-up company.